So I really hesitated on doing a video. Been a long time, but something happened today at one of the speaking events that I went to. It was a lunch with the Liberty Ladies. It was in Nampa, and I actually allowed someone to get underneath my skin and rose my voice. I usually don't let people rattle me, and I haven't in years and years and years, but this individual did, and I want to explain myself. I'm not justifying myself, but I do want to explain myself and let you know, just get this off my chest, I guess. So I go there, I speak, I answer questions, and it was fine. It was a little bit rattled and condensed because the way the forum was. It was at the end of another meeting that they already had, and so and then I come in and I spoke a little longer than I should have, and then there was a lot of questions. So the questions went on, and ultimately it was ended up being a good thing. But after it was over, we were about ready to leave, and I wanted to go tell the organizers of it thank you and shake their hand and express my appreciation. And I walk up to them, and the two organizers are having a conversation, and one says, "Well, hey, she has," pointing to the other, "she has some questions for you." And I said, "Okay." And immediately she begins basically opening up these allegations that are just loosely spoken about on Facebook as if they were true, and they happen to be around Todd Angle, and she's basically accusing me of not supporting him, leaving him in jail, and that type of action. And I've heard these things before, and I've never let them bother me that much because they're just not true. It's just not true at all. And I began to explain to her, how Todd and I were in great communication. We were just fine with each other, and communicated multiple times through text. And when I saw him at one of our meetings, we were able to hug each other, and we were friends until I decided to run against Janice and Brad and the rest of them. I put my hat in the governor's race. Well, they had aspirations and have aspirations to be able to get Janice in there, and then they're hoping that they can do good with Janice in there and gain power by that in the state. And evidently I've messed that up. So now here comes all the allegations. None of that was going on before. Now we have all these allegations, and it actually saddens me. And what's even worse is that people like this individual, who I was in the moment of trying to explain and bring rationale, was not in any way interested in hearing any type of you know rebuttal or explanation on the situation. And she kept saying something about like that I was like an hour and a half away from where Todd was in prison, and I didn't go visit him, or I didn't mention him, and all of that. That's just not true. It's just not true. And I've heard other allegations about how I didn't support him or donate to help him, and that's just not true either. And then some have said that I didn't speak about him or speak out about him, and that's not true either. I did that up until the point where he asked me not to. Him and his sister asked me not to, and because they didn't want anything to be taken negative while he's going through the appeal process. They felt like it would have been better if that process can run out. And we had full plans to like bring a lot of light and attention to Todd and his situation, including Jerry DeLamus and Greg Burleson. And but and then Todd asked me not to, and I actually got a message from his sister, and then I wanted to hear it from Todd, so I reached out again and was confirmed that Todd did not want me to do that. And now, and it was going to be quite an effort. I was going to spend tens of thousands of dollars in putting a documentary together about exactly what Todd did from the beginning of the time he left Idaho, or right before, all the way till the time he came to the ranch and then back. And because I believed that if we were to show what Todd did, that it would exonerate him, that there would be no question, because that he did not do anything that like they were accusing him of, that he didn't do that. And just by going through that, but we were going to be, I was going to put a film team together and a documentary team together, and we were going to travel and do all that. And he asked me not to. And so I dropped it, and I, continued on. The other part of this is I was doing this when I first got home, and I was recovering. I didn't have an income, and my business was in bad shape. I had a lot to deal with as far as, adjusting outside. And I had spent the last year in solitary confinement, and now I'm out, and, my family's needing me. I got 6 kids, and, my youngest was 3 years old, and my oldest at the time would have been 16. And so maybe 15, but anyway, 16. And I hadn't seen him in 2 years. And I was just trying to adjust and recover myself. And anyway, that's the situation. And so when this lady came up and once again accused me of that, I kind of responded to her. I knew she's pretty tough, hard-headed person like me. And I could tell I needed to get it clear to her that, look, I'm not going to let you just say those things and lead your group down that path like I have done those things. I mean, that's like me coming up to her and accusing her of, abusing her kids, not taking care of her kids, and, accusing her of being a poor wife and a poor, housekeeper and all of that, when I don't have any idea of that. And when she's just trying her hardest to try to make a difference and trying to get people aware of what's happening. And when her kids and so forth are just fine, that's like me just making that accusation. And, that wouldn't be right for me to do that. And I don't think it's right for her to do that to me. And anyway, it's just, and it's not true. It's just not true. Todd and Eric Parker and those others that kind of have pushed this, I don't know, it's just a lie, I guess. I mean, how else do you say it? They've pushed it, and it's not true. And they've done it for political purposes. And it's hurtful, because these people were my friends. They came to the ranch, and they did what was right. They responded, and then they went to prison along with my family and I, and we suffered in there, and their family suffered, and they fought their way out. We get out, and now for political purposes, I guess politics brings the worst out of some people, because it's kind of beside me. I can't understand why they would, hate me so much. I've never ever this is the most I've ever said against them, ever. and it's only in my defense, and I'm not going to go into it too heavily. It's not right. It's not right that they would say and and express those things. It's not true. It's not right. And they want to, again, make it political. They want to make it political. And I get it. Yeah, it's a pretty good political move, because people are thinking, boy, Ammon, abandoned everybody in prison. After everybody come to help him, then he abandoned. And the reality is I haven't lived on the Bundy Ranch for 20 years. I came to the ranch to help my dad, just like they came to the ranch to help my dad. And I've lost so much. I mean, I've lost a ton. I mean, I'm not even going to go into it. What it's, cost me in friends, in the church, what's cost me, financially. I can't even begin to tell you that. And that's not what this video is about, but there was a heavy price that I paid. There was a heavy price that they paid. But I would never ask them to, make them pay for, my price. It was my decision. I went to the ranch. I saw what was happening. I knew it was wrong, and I stood. They went to the ranch. They saw what was happening. They knew it was wrong, and they stood. And then the federal government threw us in prison for 2 years and caused us a tremendous amount of suffering. And Todd had to stay in another couple years, and he even had more suffering. And, it's crazy because before prison, I had only talked to Eric and Todd Engel just a few times, and I never talked to him at the ranch. They came down and left. I never even talked to him that I know of. And so it's not like we've had this long relationship going on. We all ended up in there. And then in prison, I was only with Eric and Todd only a couple days out of the entire 2 years, because I was always being thrown in solitary confinement, or I was put in another unit separated in maximum security. And so I guess I don't have the relationship that, that they have. And, I don't know. I just hate that they've made me their enemy. I'm not their enemy. I've never been their enemy. But, and until things got political, we were always able to work through anything that we had. And now it's just dirty work, I guess. It's just dirty, but it's not honest and it's not right. And it's sad. And, that lady, that individual, I could tell she's a spitfire, and she's a good organizer, and she cares about liberty in the country and doing in our state and making a difference. And, I believe that she should know better. And, she talked about how she defended me about the, when I went to the football game. And then later she says that, she looked at that like as trying to get attention. And then she said, the same thing about going down to the Capitol building. And I just don't understand that. I don't, I guess what it feels like is, if you remember that story about that lady who was getting beat up by her husband in the Walmart parking lot. Her husband was beating her up and, really roughing her up. And this other guy comes up and pulls the guy off his wife, his, beat up wife, and starts defending her. and the husband and the other guy start fighting, and the woman, she, kind of recovers and stands up, and then she starts hitting and scratching and punching the guy who was defending her. And that's how I kind of feel about, a good part of these people that know better. And there was no personal, gain by me standing there, wanting to watch my son play football. I mean, I was kept out of there because I wouldn't put a mask on. And I just decided I was just going to stand outside. I wasn't asking for any attention. I wasn't asking for nothing. I even went clear down the other end of the parking lot. And, all I wanted was just a chance to watch him play. And those people wouldn't leave me alone. And I filmed it because I know that's the best way to protect yourself. And ultimately the Caldwell police came and did the right thing. But how in anybody's world am I trying to get attention by that? And then down at the Capitol building, I mean, people do we not understand what was going on at the Capitol building? Governor Little was trying to make it so that, everything that he had done could never be legally accountable for. So, I mean, they were trying to make it so if they mandated the vaccine and someone died from it, their family couldn't sue the state or they couldn't sue the hospital. That's what they were trying to do. They were trying to pass legal immunity. And when we went to the committee room, they ended up dismissing that or ending that committee hearing and going to another room. And I stayed in the Lincoln Auditorium, which is an open room. It's always open till 7 p.m. Legally that day, it was open till 7 p.m. It's a public room. It was during normal hours. And they wanted me gone. They wanted me to target me. And so they sent over, almost 50 ISP officers with another 20 Boise City officers outside. They came in, surrounded me, and trespassed me and arrested me. They said the room closed at 5, and it wasn't. It was legally open till 7. And, I felt like I had to stand there. And then, once again, that I'm bringing attention to myself. No, I mean, these things. So anyway, it's bewildering to me. Now, on a positive note, our campaign is doing amazing. I mean, we're getting tremendous support. Our increase in support is tremendous. We're exposing and educating people all over, and they are seeing it our way. And our numbers and our statistics and our polling continues to just, spike. Our momentum is just growing and growing. It's these issues here that are very hard to deal with, and I guess I just wanted to get them off my chest. I never wanted to be running for governor. I don't want to be a governor. Yeah, I said that. I say it all the time. I don't want to be a governor. I feel like I am supposed to do this. That's what God wants me to do. And that's why I'm doing it. And I also see the very reality, the writing on the wall, that Idaho, I mean, I'm going to predict, 5 years, if we continue down this path, we will have a Portland-type city in Boise, and the state politics and policies will be very close to Oregon at the pace that we are accelerating. And I'll send out an email about this because I want to, back up what I'm saying when I say that, not just say it. So I will back it up. And, right now I'll just continue to move forward. I wish I didn't let her get under my skin, but in one way, I'm glad I did, because we were able to go in another room and kind of really hammer it out. And, whether she'll ever, you know, recognize the things that have really gone on or not, I don't know. But at least she understands me a little better. And, I guess because of that, it was maybe worth it. And I didn't offend her or the people around her, although I'm pretty sure, because the other lady came out and talked to me, and the other coordinator or organizer, prayed with me, and you know, and I think she realizes that was a situation that was a tough one, and wanted to bring the Lord in on it and make it better. So anyway, my thoughts, and I don't know, wish I'd go back and just take care of my family, but I guess this liberty stuff is important. So take care. Thank you.